Hi, welcome to SalonTees.com instructional series on quick, easy highlighting techniques. I'm your host, Christian Faircloth, and today I'll be sharing with you a technique called the zipper. This technique utilizes 10 to 13 foils just in the top of the hair, yielding dramatic results. Let's get started, shall we? With dealing with just the top of the hair, we'll start off with a horseshoe section just in the top, so that all of this hair is the only hair that we're going to be using today. Everything else is pulled to the back, swept, and pinned back. Our sectioning will be more of a zigzag technique. What I mean by that is, if you've seen stylists that have done a foiling comb, going zigzagging back and forth and through the hair and creating this zigzag type of thing, that's the section we'll be using. Now, it's important to know where your client's part is and where they typically part their hair, because that's going to give us the best results, creating the explosion of color that we're actually looking for. For this purpose, we'll use a part that will somewhat be to the left side of the middle of her head, meaning the middle of her nose. I'll come in just around, just above, actually, the eyeball. I'll use my comb using the coarse side of the teeth rather than the fine side of the teeth to create my zigzag parting. I'll place the teeth of the comb right on the scalp and begin to zigzag and pull back as I'm working towards the top of the head. Just in the middle of the comb, I'll see where those sections are, pinch off one piece, and then sectioning, pulling that and creating our dramatic zigzag. Now that I have a right and a left side, I'll actually pin these out of my way, as these will be my working sections and the sections that I want to begin to foil the hair into. I'll be working on the right side of her head as if I'm facing her rather than standing behind her. As we go through this technique, you'll see me shift from the left to the right, but make sure that you're standing somewhat in front of your client as you're doing this technique, so as you don't get lost. Now, you can use a slice or a weave depending on your own source of creativity. In this particular technique, I'll actually do both. The bottom I will weave, and the top I will actually slice to create a more dramatic effect when we're finished. Now, if you notice, I didn't start at the scalp. I actually started a little bit past the scalp, about an inch past into the hairline, so that I don't get all of my product up at the top of her scalp, where a lot of times those bleeding things can happen. I'll work my product now back up to the scalp, where I'm working with less product, but still enough product where I will get that hair highlighted. Our next foil, as I said, will be a small slice, and I'll actually end on the very top, or where that section was to begin with. Again, about an inch down from this section, so that I don't put all of my product up at the very top. And work that product back up to her scalp. That section is complete. Now we'll move over to the right side of her head. Again, dealing with only the little triangle. And this doesn't have to come down to her hairline. I'm only working in the top, as this color will spill over and give us our dramatic result. As you can see, we're almost to the very top of her head. Her head is actually bending down so you can see a little bit better. But you can see, or start to see, the foil patterns that we're creating, or the patterns that we're creating with these foils. Underneath we have 2, here we have 3, here we have another 3, and here we have another 3. Our last section would be this very top section. In this section I would probably only do about 2 foils in. I'll finish this technique with my remaining 2 foils just in the top of her head, let her process for 35 minutes, and then check back in to see the results. Wow, can you believe the results, and all in just 10 or 15 foils on the head? Think about how your clients are going to feel with that little trick when you pull it out of your bag. I'm Christian Faircloth for SalonTees.com. I hope you've enjoyed this little segment and the zipper technique. Use it to your advantage. And please remember, it's not the products that you carry in your salon that make you upscale, it's the service you provide.